All right, so rehash.
Yes.
What is it?
Well, I'm so sorry for what happened this morning. This is what we're going to have to deal with sometimes. But hopefully, uh, okay, let's just start all
Yeah, we
over
had
with
an
this.
internet glitch late morning, and I was having the same problem, and I didn't talk to mom about it, and I left, and I came back and I heard that the internet was terrible for it. And so there isn't anything on the computer, nothing to be done except just say that we just had a bad internet connection late this morning.
So here we are to overcome. I just want to make sure that that work of Tony Wolf is clear, and that basic structure of the feminine psyche that's so precious for us to have. So, as you probably remember, there are these four archetypes: the mother, the Hetera, the Amazon, and the medium. And that makes up the basic structure of the feminine psyche, that we're operating out of these four archetypes all the time. You might operate out of all four in one day, probably do, although there'll be a major one uh, that's carrying your persona, that's carrying your personality um, during different periods in your life. So we all begin with the mother archetype, and then most likely we move on to the Hetera, and these have got to do with relationships with other people. Moving from a heartfelt archetype, i.e., the mother, to a head felt archetype about the information that we want more of. And then we move on to the Amazon, who will help us make it happen. It becomes a mission. And we move on to the medial then from there. And that's our desire for a higher mindedness, a spiritual connection about what it is that we're doing. This has got to do with my spiritual life. The second chart after that in the book that we talked about is how this gets translated to us when we're using our creative energy. And so the mothering, again, I notice how tough some students are on themselves about what they're creating. And you wouldn't treat a child this way. Oh, it's so ugly. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, that's not what I wanted. How often do I hear that? So instead, it's turning that mothering around for your creative process. And then when an image comes up in a dream, or as someone said this morning, I think Gay, you said you've had the same dream 4 times, and the image keeps repeating itself. It could be a person. Often it'll be a person that you have a shadow projection on, and in that case, you want to know what is it about this person that I have a shadow projection on, or it could be some famous person that shows up in your dream. What is it that that person is able to do that I want to be able to do? What is it that that person can teach me? Sometimes it's an animal. All of this applies for your collage as well, by the way. Sometimes it's an animal. And what is it that that animal is able to do in a crisis or in its own self-actualization? What is that animal doing that it can teach you how to do? And that's usually, the Hetera involves some research, some going back into literature, or I'll Google an image that I'm working with to understand better what that imagery might mean or where it is coming from. And then the mission of your art. The Amazon will fight for space, will fight for a place for you to work, time for you to work, will be dedicated and committed to your creative expression. And then the medial, what does this mean to me? What is it that is progressing within me, that is wanting to move forward in a spiritual light, in a sense of knowledge? How does this have spiritual meaning for me, for my art, so that there's a connection? And making these connections is what we're talking about when we talk about becoming conscious of what it is that we're doing. And the hidden agenda for me is that this is very political. It would not be allowed in Russia. It would not be allowed in China, many other places, to make these personal statements. All art must be in the devoted to the country, to the politics of the day, i.e. what just happened in Florida, all the art programs being taken out, $32 million worth. Quick prompts for your collage when we come back together July 11th. So your collage might be about something that you heard yourself say today in class. I think I pointed that out for a couple of people. That would just be an ideal way. If you've had a dream that you remember that's staying with you, do a collage about it. That's another wonderful way to engage with your unconscious. This is what we need to learn to do, to have a practice in which we're committed to engaging with our unconscious. And then I think the good idea came up at the end of class today when I thought about making a collage about your mothering, or a collage about you as a Hetera, or a collage about you as the Amazon, or what does medial mean to you? So thank you very much for paying attention again. I look forward to seeing all of you on July 11th. Have a wonderful holiday, and thank you so much.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, so